last but not least for today's show, we do have a predicted lineup for the Bournemouth game. So we're going to go through the team we expect to see on Sunday. And let's get into that. First of all, the injury graphic grows ever longer because Dejan Kulusevski is added to the list because he is suspended for Sunday's game after picking up his 5th yellow card against Brighton. He is added to Basuma, who's also suspended, and he is added to the rest of the players who are out injured: Perisic, Romero, Bentancur, Van de Ven, Manderson, Sessegnon, and Manuel Solomon, who remain injured for Sunday's game. He did obviously mention, he was asked about Van de Ven, whether he mentioned he might have him back for United. He said he was asked to be more specific, is he definitely out for the Burnley game on Friday night. He actually didn't confirm whether he was. He said, not necessarily definitely out, but we'll have to wait and see how he reacts.
They're going to strap him up and wheel him out there.
Wheel him out. Look, he might be doing better than some of our centre-backs right now, just him with a crutch. Leg, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But so that is the state of play. Another player out, suspended. So we'll have to wait. So we'll have to see. Look, this is our predicted lineup for the game on Sunday. In goal, obviously, man in the moment, Vicario. He's in the form of his life, had another brilliant game on Thursday. I just hope he's not as tested as he has been in recent weeks on Sunday. Yeah,
I just wanted to say, I can only imagine how exciting these predicted lineup formats could be when we haven't got like 47 players out and suspended. Like all of the chat you could have, whereas right now we just say, yeah, I think we all know pretty much, other than maybe one or two situations, what the game's going to be. But yeah, Vicario, like we need him more than ever at the moment, playing unbelievable football.
All right. On the right-hand side, Pedro Porro, who, as we mentioned before, did become our all-time assister in a single Premier League season. So hopefully he can extend that on the weekend. He didn't have a brilliant game, I felt, on Thursday. But look, we don't really have an alternative at the moment anyway. So he's obviously going to have to start. Obvious. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro, absolutely vital to the way that Big Ange plays. So, if we were to lose Porro or Destiny for any length of time, I think we'd be in real trouble at the moment because as much as I love Emerson Royale on the ball, if he comes back into right back or when he's playing at centre back, just does not offer any kind of the threat. I mean, I think it's fair to say, I think I'm willing to put myself out there and say that if Emerson Royale had been playing right back this season, he would not be our highest ever assist maker from defence in a season. So all props to Pedro Porro. We need you.
Yeah, definitely right about that. Right centre-back, we are going to stick with Emerson Royale. There has been a few people saying, should we bring back Eric Dyer just because, Solanke, physical presence, he's going to look to bully our centre-backs. Would Dyer be more adept to playing against that kind of striker? I do get the feeling he has kind of told Dyer, he's not in his plans anymore and he's not going to pick him. I think he's going to continue with Emerson Royale, but Emerson's going to have a much better game than he did on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think it'll be a difficult battle for Emerson Royale if he plays centre back up against Dominic Solanke. I think Solanke will get his back in and really try and use his physical might to boss him around. But yeah, it seems unlikely to me he'll bring Dyer back in now because Dyer's confidence must be absolutely shot, to be honest. So I think he'll be more kind of thinking about whether he can get his move in January or hold out for a big signing on fee. But look, Emerson will try his hardest. He'll do his best and. Let's not forget the last 10 minutes yesterday when he was basically playing attacking midfield centre, as far as I can tell. So,
would you be tempted to change it at all? Like, is there anyone you would be tempted to bring in, or do you think we just have to go with him?
I'm pretty consistent when I say that the reason that Dorrington and Ashley Phillips haven't started is because Ange is seeing them in training every day and he doesn't feel they're ready for it. If he was going to throw one of them in, I think it would be at home. I do. So you never know. Seems unlikely.
Yeah, I agree. Partnering him, we're going to go with Ben Davis. Did get a goal on Thursday night. Has actually been in good form by and large. Has actually stepped into that centre-back role really well, but did have with the collective of the rest of the defence, did have a poor game on Thursday. Again, is going to be up against a very physical Dominic Solanke, who's especially Davis with his height issues. Is he kind of someone Solanke will be looking at thinking, I can definitely get someone who's very good in the air. He's definitely going to be thinking about Ben Davis and thinking, I can definitely get the better of him aerially.
Yeah, and I think Davis will try and counteract that by doing what he had been doing very well in the previous kind of 4 or 5 matches yesterday, which is getting in, kind of reading the play and getting in before the ball comes to Solanke's feet, nipping in, nicking the ball and laying it off He's very good at that. He's a very good reader of the game, incredibly intelligent player. Should mention last night, we haven't mentioned it yet, he did have a really good chance from a header from a corner in that first half. I think maybe we were only 1-0 down or 2-0 down at that point. Ball came across and he just got too much on it and it went over the bar. He's very dangerous attacking-wise, obviously got that goal and very brave as well. Again, been impressed with his form. Obviously not the best game last night. None of us did have the best game last night, but a key cog in the way we are battling through difficult circumstances at the moment.
Yeah, completely agree. To be fair, he actually is probably, I would say, underrated in the air, considering most people think he gets completely bullied, which he doesn't, but it's still not his strong point.
No, he's 5'8".
Exactly, that is an issue. Destiny Udogie, we're going to put at left back. Another strong showing I felt on Thursday, especially how he ended the game. Wasn't maybe his best first half, but we know he's got unbelievable stamina, unbelievable strength, and hopefully he can be a lot more impactful in this one.
Yeah, I love him so much. I love when he gets the ball on the half turn in those little pockets in between, his back four and midfield, and then drives those runs into the inside left channel. I'd like to see more of him kind of laying the ball out wide and then making that secondary run on and past the penalty spot where he got a goal in a previous home game a couple of games ago. So yeah, vital player, and we missed him whenever he's been suspended and out of the team. And I honestly think, despite the fact he's our left back, he's one of our biggest danger men at the moment in terms of the way that he makes opposition players feel about him. They don't want to press him too high because he can get past them on the half turn. Not many of our players are able to do that in our current side. So very important that he has a good game if we're going to win on Sunday.
In the number 6 position, we are going to put Ollie Skipp back into the team. Obviously, he did actually miss out on Thursday due to a last-minute knock, which wasn't revealed until the lineups came out on Thursday night. But Ange did confirm that he expects Ollie Skipp to be fit for Sunday, and if that is the case, I thought he put in a decent performance against Everton. We did expect him to start on Thursday, which obviously he was out unexpectedly, so I am going to put him in the starting lineup for this one. And I do think in that number 6 position, I do think he shows for the ball a bit more than someone like a Højbjerg, and maybe he's a bit more controlled than a Højbjerg when he's being pressed. But in terms of quality of player, I don't know if there's that much difference, but hopefully in terms of his attributes, it comes up with a much better performance. Yeah,
I was very disappointed that he was out injured yesterday, because I've been saying that what's vital for Ollie Skipp during this period is that he's able to get a rhythm up at the pace of the Premier League and show his full potential, because I feel like it's the last few opportunities he may have to really get an opportunity to prove that he's worth staying in Ange's squad. And then to get a knock and not be able to play yesterday was just at the wrong time. The reason I think we're putting him in our predicted lineup is because Ange chose him over Højbjerg in that Everton game. And therefore, if he's fit again, why wouldn't he do it again? I don't think Højbjerg showed enough last night, to prove any different. I think the one thing he offers that Højbjerg doesn't really is a bit more mobility, a bit more engine to get up and down. Højbjerg's more, his engine is kind of back and across a bit more, whereas I feel like Skipp can get up and down a little bit more. And maybe that little bit more energy does allow him to take the ball past a presser a bit more. But his rhythm isn't quite there yet, so his touch can be quite heavy, and we have to be patient with that if he does play, because he hasn't played enough games. He's only been coming off the bench, really. And if he is going to start, I'm not suggesting that his touch will be perfect straight away, and we need it to be.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and he needs a bit of patience. But hopefully, if he does come back into the team, I hope that he just shows a bit more care on the ball than maybe Højbjerg has been showing, especially on Thursday. On the number 8 position, we're going to go with Pape Matar Sarr. Did again have a poor game by his standards on Thursday night. Comes up against some really tricky customers in Alex Scott and Ryan Christie in the Bournemouth midfield. So he's definitely going to have that energy about him in this game and make sure he's stopping them from controlling the game. I was very disappointed with how much control those Brighton players did have on Thursday, especially Billy Gilmore seemed to run the game, and hopefully Sarr can prevent that from happening on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was disappointing. I think he will play. But one thing I will say, if Ange was going to throw a young player in, it might be now. It might be he looked at Sarr's performance, thinks he's obviously fatigued. He's about to go off to the AFCON. If he was going to throw in Jamie Donnelly, maybe it would be now and maybe it would be for Sarr. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it happened, it wouldn't be a shock that threw me to the back of the room. Because a home game, Bournemouth are of course good, but a home game playing in midfield is a possibility where even if you're having not the best game or you're not quite ready for it or whatever, you're able to be a body and you're able to show your engine and your desire. So that is something that can happen. But I think Sarr will play, and I think he'll be stung by not being great and getting taken off quite early yesterday, and will hopefully show a bit more desire in that game than I thought he did. As again with Son, it's very possible, should say, maybe Sarr's carrying a little knock as well. You just don't know. But yeah, I thought he was poor. Gave him a 4 out of 10. And if he plays, I expect him to play better.
All right, next to him is going to be a Giovanni Lo Celso, who's going to come in for the suspended Dejan Kulusevski. I thought he had a pretty bright cameo against Brighton. I actually thought following on from a pretty decent cameo he had against Everton as well. He was asked about Lo Celso in his press conference, Anthony, and he was asked, why did he fall out of the team? He said he didn't get taken out of the team through form or anything. It was just because he was injured. He lost his place, and I actually think Lo Celso, when he's played majority of the season, actually played pretty well, and I'm excited to see him back in the team, and hopefully he can bring that creativity to the side. I wouldn't say that's been missing, because I do think Kulu's been quite good in the centre, but maybe that is going to substitute for Kulu's creativity.
Yeah, sure, he's a natural fit, he comes straight in, but now Lo Celso needs to stay fit. It's absolutely vital, because Sarr will be gone, and it'll be Lo Celso and Kulusevski now. For the cup games and for the games in January. So Gio Lo Celso, this is going to be the most important period of his Tottenham career, and he needs to stay fit. He picks up too many little injuries. I'm glad he's going to be playing against Bournemouth, because he's going to offer something that Kulusevski didn't really last night, which is he's going to come deep like Maddison does from that 8 or 10 role and get the ball off his back foot and really start our kind of forward movements from there. And we need more control over the ball than we had last night. So I'm glad Lo Celso is going to be playing, assuming he doesn't get injured before. And we need him to continue playing and get that kind of match fitness up to 100% for that January period. We're not going to have to play loads of games, only 4 probably maximum in January. That's if we get through in the cup. So it's not like he's going to be playing twice a week. So we need him to play, stay fit and play well and really nail down and show us that he can long-term be a great midfield option in this Ange Ball squad.
On the right-hand side of the attack, we're going to stick with Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Again, didn't have his best game on Thursday. I seem to be saying that with a lot of our players. But I do feel like overall he is more comfortable on that right-hand side. Again, apart from if you want to maybe bring in Bryan Hill, there aren't too many opportunities to change it as well. So I do think Johnson keeps his place, but hopefully he can be a bit more impactful on that right-hand side. And I do back him to do that against a Bournemouth side who, are very offensive. So hopefully that leaves opportunities for him to exploit some space. Yeah,
I think Brennan Johnson is getting a little bit too much abuse for what he deserves. He's got quite a lot of goal involvements this season. And he is a very raw young player, but I see a lot of potential in him. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he got another assist or maybe even a goal coming in at the back stick. I like him a lot. I think he's a big talent. I think we paid what we had to pay to get a young English talent through the door. And I think don't write him off too soon, guys. Don't forget, it wasn't long ago people were writing off Kulusevski, said he was rubbish after that first kind of few games under Conte. And he's proven how brilliant he is, and I think Johnson will be a great player for Tottenham Hotspur in the medium to long term.
All right, next up we have Richarlison in the number 9. Obviously, was actually brought off around the hour mark on Thursday night, having probably had a few chances to score, had 2 goals ruled out for offside and did hit the post and also forced a save out of Steele. So did have his opportunities, but was quite, I don't know, was it curious? Would I say curiously taken off after the hour? Because if anyone looked like he was going to score, it did look like to be Richarlison, but he didn't last the 90 minutes. He has been in good form of late before Thursday night. So despite the fact that, maybe Ange did kind of haul him off, we are going to stick with him in that number 9 position, essentially.
Yeah, I think I've said it before, I think his finishing confidence is now fully up. I think he's probably carrying a bit of a knock to his back, which is why he came off. Ange mentioned it after the Everton game. And I think they're being probably just a bit careful with him and wanted to try something different last night because it wasn't working. He just needs to work on the timing of those runs. Is there an opportunity for him to bend his run a bit more, start a tiny bit deeper and bend it around a little bit more? But there's just no room for error now with VAR. He has to realise that. And it's costing us. But really pleased to see those finishes. And the one that hit the post, actually, I haven't really talked about that. But that was a lovely across the keeper effort. Very unlucky. And
Was he unlucky to be taken off?
Well, I'm assuming he was injured, to be honest.
Oh, right.
I'm
fair
assuming
enough.
he was injured. But also, if we're going to try something different, then he's always going to put Son in the 9, and Richarlison is the most likely to make way. So I think if we make him chances at the weekend against Bournemouth, I think he'll score.
And then on the left-hand side, there is going to stick with Heung-min Son. Hasn't had the best of times of the last couple games. Doesn't look as comfortable on that left-hand side as he has, in my opinion, in that number 9 position. So if they were going to change it up, it would be maybe just switching Richarlison and Son. I do expect him to keep it the same, though, just because Rishi does look like scoring at the moment when he does have an opportunity. Bournemouth, obviously, their centre-backs, their right back, I think, is Max Aarons. Is a pacey one, but not the most physical. So maybe Son might fancy his chances taking him on. But do you see any opportunity of taking Son out of that left-hand side, or do you think he has to start there again?
Well, just that we saw that he had the kind of back of his right knee strapped up against Brighton. That was something I didn't know about, and that kind of scans with him just dropping off 5%. His touch hasn't quite been there, so it feels like maybe he's carrying a bit of a knock into that Asian Cup, which he'll go off to in January. But I agree. I think it's most likely he'll start. He's our captain. Both of our other 2 vice captains are unavailable. We need his leadership. We need to put him to put in at least one more effort before he goes off to that Asian Cup, and hopefully the kind of momentum and atmosphere and support of the fans can drive him through, and he can get us another assist or 2 or another goal or 2. Because we really need 3 points in this game. It's absolutely huge for the rest of our season, I think, that we get 3 points in this game. Sometimes you can lose at games at Brighton. You can be outplayed. That can happen. But a home game against Bournemouth, I know we did lose, I think, against them last season, didn't we?
We did 3-2.
At home. So it's not like it can't happen, but I think we need 3 points in this game big time to set us up for that difficult January ahead.
Yeah, and as well, it's so important that we make use of these players like Sarr and Son before they go off to their respective competitions, because, as you said, we're not going to have them available in January. So if we lose the last game with them available, that's not going to give us good momentum going into January.
Make it a very difficult January.
100%. So let's go through that lineup one more time. The predicted lineup, we've got Vicario in goal, Porro, Emerson, Davis, and Udogie at the back, Skipp, Sarr, and Celso along the midfield, with the front 3 of Johnson and Son behind Richarlison. Barnaby has said it's going to be 3-1 to Spurs. I have predicted, unfortunately, 2-2. Let me know in the comment section below what your predicted lineup would be for this game. But that is all